they don't have sticker shock. You get, the secretarial person or, from a corporation like the secretary of the VP of sales says, get Michael Goldberg to come and speak at our meeting. They call Michael Goldberg and they say, Michael, what's your fee? And he says, well, it's $10,000 for an hour. And then they go, oh my God, you get $10,000 for an hour? And he goes, yeah. And say associations just already understand. So that makes life a little bit easier. I don't know what Michael's real fee is. I just use that as an example. I do talk actual numbers because I have a certified association executive credential, and I had to study way more association law than I ever cared to study to sit for that test. I will tell you that we can talk fees. We just can't collude to say what we're going to do in the future. We can talk all day about what we did yesterday. That's legal. There's no antitrust issues. We just can't collude to talk about we're going to push this bureau out or we're going to do this or that. So understand the difference. So you don't have to say to me 25 bananas because I think that's stupid. Anyway, let's move on. Associations are a gathering of business owners and executives. Okay, there again, associations, the gateway to corporations. Perfect. So I kind of look at associations as, you ready for this? Here's my favorite. It's a paid corporate showcase. Think about it. You get paid to speak at an association meeting, maybe not as much as at a corporate meeting, but you get paid pretty decent money, okay? And you got all these people in front of you that you can publicly sell to. Now, there is one little trick. You got to be good as a speaker. If you suck as a speaker, it's probably not going to work out too well. But if you're good as a speaker, then these people are going to talk to you because they're going to probably need what you're sharing in their company. So it's just, it's a twofer. It's all of everything in these worlds. Now, let's understand, why do you think people join associations? Anybody want to throw a, and hey, you guys on Zoom, if you want to scream out too, I don't care, go for it.
Professional development.
Professional development, okay?
Connection.
Okay, well, professional networking. See, got it. You were right. Professional development. So we'll get to you in just a minute. So people want to grow their business, grow their career, grow their practice. That's generally people newer in their business career. They're looking for that association to help them grow their business. Those of you that are newish here at the chapter meeting, why are you here? Are you here for your health? Probably not. You're probably here to get ideas on how to grow your business. Well, others going to association means the same thing. And somebody said connections. Anybody else have any others before we get to that? Okay.
Advocacy.
Close. Yeah, that's really good. Close. So solve their problems. So under solving their problems, dealing with regulatory issues, advocacy. Now, understand, in most of the data out there, only 20% of people join associations because they care about advocacy. So that means 80% don't. So that's something that most associations have a problem with, understanding that, yeah, you spend $1 million on advocacy and only 20% of your members care. That's a good investment. But they're looking for, people are looking to come to the association to avoid regulatory fines, to learn how to avoid crummy suppliers, because they have some kind of pain, they have some kind of need. They want the association to help them solve the problem. And the third reason, what you brought up, is community. A lot of people just want to be around people that are like them. Now, we can break each of these three key areas down to many more, but I'm not going to spend that much time on it. I would do that if I was speaking to an association group and we're doing an all-day workshop on that topic. But just for you to think about, understand, okay, the people join their association, grow their business, solve their problems, community. You need to have that in the back of your mind when you're talking to the decision makers and they're looking at who they're going to bring in, because you need to use that understanding to talk about how you're going to help them grow their business, solve their problems, and grow community. To be successful in this business, I think number one, you have to be good at the craft. Now, I'm not a presentation coach. I would suck at being a presentation coach. So I'm not going to get a whole lot into telling you things you need to do with presentations. Like a million years ago at the NSA convention, Ron Arden did a whole 1 hour keynote on the pause. So I mean, that's not my thing. There's lots of other people that can help you with the craft, but you've got to be good at the craft. Number two, you got to be good at positioning. We're going to talk about that a bit today. And in the afternoon, we're going to talk about that a lot. And this is where I've seen in my 35 years as an NSA member, a lot of speakers have a problem in positioning themselves. And a lot of speakers that think they've got their positioning wired, maybe for corporate they do, but for associations, they maybe don't. Then persistence. I will tell you, in my time in NSA, I've seen so many speakers come and go. So many speakers that I know were far better than me, better looking than me, more muscles than me, taller than me, had more hair than me, but they didn't have the persistence. And they, how do you say, they petered out. And it just, I've just seen so many really good speakers just couldn't do the business side. They just wanted to get up and be wonderful on stage. These three things, I believe, will give you success. But you can't do it with just one of them. You got to have all three. You've got to be good with your craft. You've got to be good with positioning so people understand where and how to buy you. And you just got to keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it, keep at it. Because I think the speaking business is something that, most of us can do for the rest of our lives. And, so you just keep investing in yourself. Okay, I want to talk about positioning a little bit. Are you ready? Mm-hmm. So this is my parachute model. And for this morning, we're only going to talk about that little part on the top. In the afternoon, okay, all of you that'll be here in the afternoon, we're going to talk about the rest of it. But we're just going to talk about the little part on top for today and for this morning. So what the parachute is basically each of those strings represents all of the things you do. And then you have a parachute topic, like sales, like marketing. The popular thing in the last 2 weeks has been AI speakers. And I always giggle at people that tell me they're AI experts because it changes every week. But sorry, Gina. Sorry, Terry. So what you have to do, you have to look at what is your general topic, but the differentiator is how you're different, better, special within that topic. Now, how many speakers do you think in the United States speak on leadership? Anybody got a guess?
2 million.
Well, it's 5,432. But but of those 5,432 speakers that speak on leadership, they're all the same, aren't they? Or are they? I don't know, you tell me. Are they all the same?
No.
Well, then how do I know that they're not the same? I'm the meeting planner. I'm the decision maker. Oh, another speaker on leadership, dime a dozen. It is your approach to leadership, which is that top canopy, that makes all the difference in your positioning with the associations. Something that they understand about you, that you bring to your topic that's different than others. Now, there's no right or wrong on this. It's, what you like, what you want to do. But the way associations work, and we all hate this, okay? We hate it. They have to pigeonhole us. They have to figure out which, slot they're going to put us in. And none of us like that, but it's a reality. So the better you can do on really drilling down in your general topic area, how you're different, better, special than the other 1,000 people on that topic, is going to help them determine whether it makes sense to bring you in or not. This is the area that I've found in the last 35 years, most speakers have a problem early in their career, mid-career, and late career. Most people never figure this out. And this is something that I would encourage everybody in this room. Think about, let's take the word unique. What does the word unique mean?
One of a kind. One of a kind.
One of a kind. That's usually the general definition of the word unique. One of a kind. Well, I'm uniquely different because I have a red suit on rather than a green suit. Well, that's not unique. Okay. Everybody's got a suit on. So I think you have to look at what is your uniqueness? What is your one of a kindness? What is the one thing about you in your topic that differentiates you from the others? Because that's what you're going to lean into when you're reaching out to the associations. Makes sense? You have your fingers up. Does that mean your hands up for a question?
Yeah, it does.
I can only see the fingers.
I like to play with words, and so when you ask what unique is, you, I know the NI, the cue, like if you can give somebody a cue of how you're different, then maybe that's part of what you're talking about today.
Maybe I would like to go deeper than how I'm different. I'd like to go to the depth of my one of a kindness. Okay, because being a little bit different is not quite. I mean, that's better than not. Don't get me wrong. That's better than not. But if you can go to that depth of one of a kindness, why you are uniquely different, one of a kindness from other speakers on your topic, it gives the association decision maker a reason to select you over somebody else. How many in the room would call themselves a subject matter expert? Put your hand up. Let me see. Let me see the video. Nobody on the, oh, 1, 2, 3. Okay. You guys aren't going to play, are you? Okay. Okay, one more time. Subject matter expert. Okay, a bunch of people here. Okay, thank you. Very good. So I'll get a little closer so I can read it. A subject matter expert, SME, is a person who has the accumulated great knowledge in a particular field or topic, demonstrated through degrees, licensure, and or other types of professional experience. SMEs are recognized as authorities in their specialized areas and serve as the go-to resource for specific technical information and guidance. Is that you? Is it? Yes? No? Yes? Bummer. Let me tell you this. Subject matter experts get $2,500 breakouts. Thought leaders get $25,000 keynotes. Now, I realize this might be a little bit of hyperbole, and the numbers might be a little bit off. Maybe some subject matter experts get $3,000 for keynotes. I don't know. But the point I want to make to you is it's not uncommon for subject matter experts to be relegated to especially in national meetings and bigger national meetings, to get relegated to the breakouts. So don't get me, there's nothing wrong with doing the breakouts. That's totally fine. And like American Bus Association, they only pay $1,000 per breakout, but they'll give you breakout, but they'll let you at their conference do like 3 or 4 of them. So you can still make decent money. That's American Bus Association. The thing though to think about, if you want to move into the bigger stages and the bigger fees, nothing wrong with staying on the smaller stages and the lower fees. Absolutely nothing wrong with it. You can make a hell of a living at that level. So don't hear me say you must be a thought leader. However, if you want the bigger stages, the bigger fees, thought leadership is the way to get there. Okay, so everybody pull out a piece of paper, if you have paper or something to write on, and just write 1 through 10 down the left side, right side, I don't care, on the vertical axis of your paper, 1 to 10. Okay. We're gonna do a little game here. Ready? Okay, move. So in thought leadership, I'm gonna cover 10 topics on thought leadership. I'm gonna ask you to rate yourself 1 to 10, 10 high. Just to let you know, at the end, I'm not gonna ask you to reveal what your number is, because that would be really mean of me, because it just would be. So I'm not gonna do that. If you want to scream out your number, it's up to you, but I'm not gonna ask you to. So we're gonna go through this, each one, rate yourself 1 to 10. Okay, so, sorry, guys, I'm gonna have to move over here so I can read. It's just a little bit too small of this. Number 1, visionary thinking. Thought leaders consistently offer new ideas, strategies, and perspectives that challenge conventional wisdom and shape the direction of their industry. So visionary thinking, 1 to 10. Number 2, industry influence, 1 to 10. They impact discussions, trends, and practices well beyond their immediate organizations. I can't read my whole thing because we got the Zoom thing on there. Something with broader conversations and guiding other fields. You guys can see it on your screen. Number 3, strategic communication. Rather than focusing on technical, let me move this thing up there. That's okay, I'll just move that. There we go, now I can see. Strategic communication. Rather than focusing on technical explanations, thought leaders inspire action and connect abstract ideas to real world applications through clear, engaging, and memorable stories. 4, original content creation. Rate yourself 1 to 10. They publish valuable original insights through articles, speaking engagements, and media appearances, addressing questions others overlook and making complex topics accessible. Number 5, 1 through 10, proactive engagement. Thought leaders anticipate trends, shape debates before issues become widespread, and actively seek out opportunities to drive change within an industry. Okay, let's go to 6. Unique point of view, rate yourself 1 to 10. They challenge the status quo, promote convention-breaking ideas, and offer innovative solutions, sometimes taking contrarian positions or meaningful change. I know I've never taken a contrarian position on anything. Number 7, strong relationships. They rate yourself 1 to 10. They nurture networks and collaborative relationships with other industry influencers, mentor others, and build dedicated following through dialogue and association engagement. Number 8, rate yourself 1 to 10. Continuous learning. An ongoing commitment to learning ensures thought leaders remain current with trends, technologies, and global developments, adapting their perspectives as needed. Number 9, rate yourself on measurable impact, 1 to 10. Thought leaders monitor the effectiveness of their ideas and content, gather feedback. I was asked early this morning how I like to receive feedback. I tell people I don't care. And refine their approach to maximize influence and positive outcomes. Number 10, authenticity, which apparently I lack. True thought leaders combine genuine expertise and honesty, courage, and credibility, earning trust through ethical actions and transparent communication. So add it up. Again, I'm not going to ask you to share your numbers because that would be rude of me. But if anybody wants to scream out the number, feel free to, to go ahead and do that. But I think the important thing to think about is, okay, how do I want to position myself? Now, it takes a bit of work and it doesn't happen overnight to be a thought leader. And you can go to your good friend ChatGPT and put in a prompt. And I know that you've had several AI speakers in the last couple months. So I'm not going to be an AI speaker, but you can put that in and you can get a lot of good information on how to build yourself, or you can just take these 10 things and work on these. But ask yourself, am I happy to just be a subject matter expert, which probably most of you are? Or do I really want to work on pushing myself to that next plateau to being a thought leader? To where when a topic comes up or an approach on a topic comes up, my name comes to pass. Probably very few of you remember the name Larry Winget, but his friend, very successful speaker, and he used to talk about in the mid days, how do I get my name above title? You know, think about on a book. Most of us that write books, we all have books, our title's on the top and our name's on the bottom, right? But so because the title of the book is more important than our name, but how do we get ourselves to where our name is more important than the title? Like every time Robert Grisham brings out a new book, do you give a hoot what the title is? You don't care. You're just gonna go buy the new book. So that's what we have to look at, ways to move ourselves, I believe, beyond simply being an SME, which is a good thing, don't get me wrong. Move beyond that to become a thought leader. Any questions on that before I move on? No? Okay. I want to talk to you because a lot of people think that to get on the big stage, they've got to, you know, be in bed with the speaker bureau. And I'm going to talk to you about that just a little bit. Let me tell you this. Do not try to connect with speaker bureaus until you're ready. Because the day they meet you, that's who you are for the rest of your career. It's terrible, but that's the way it is. Now, I put up the website of IASB, International Association of Speaker Bureaus. They do a speaker showcase a couple times a year, and a bureau has to nominate you. Now, if you want to find bureaus, if you go to their website, there happens to be one of the tabs that says find a bureau. So that's pretty easy to find the bureaus. And any decent bureau is a member of this organization. Any decent bureau has to stick to their code of ethics, because a decent bureau doesn't commingle your money with their money. They put it in an asset account. So there's been, in this world, speaker world, there's been a lot of bureaus that have come and gone, and there's been a lot of speakers that have been stung by bureaus that gone owing speakers money. So it's just understand speaker bureaus can be great partners, but it's got to be the right time, the right place. And when do they want you?
And you don't need them.
No, exactly. They want you when you're taking their speech, meaning you booked the speech with the association up against them and they were trying to sell that spot and you got it. When you get to that point, the bureaus start calling you, go, who is this person? They're getting, because they look at it as their business. It's like that speaker's getting my business. And I need to get that speaker on. So just understand, I would encourage everybody, keep the bureau model in mind. When the time is right, reach out to bureaus. But if the time isn't right, wait. And you can do, I'm going to show you, before we get in this morning, I'm going to show you all the tricks and tips and everything to get to the association people to where you really don't need the bureau. But there's this 4-letter word you're going to have to embrace. Anybody have any idea what it might be?
Work.
Yes, work. Thank you. Work. I can't tell you how many speakers I've worked with. They go, oh, I'm not afraid of work. And then it's like, did you make the calls? No, I had to, walk the dog. So it's just, it is this business, this is the easiest business to get into and the hardest business to be successful in. So I'm just going to try to give you some shortcuts as we go through the day. Let's talk about how you can find associations, okay? So you've had programs on AI. So all I'm going to tell you is you can build your own super GPT to find associations. Now, I've done a lot using AI to find associations, and I'd say AI is about 60% accurate as far, even with a really good GPT, as far as, because I'll do searches and I'm looking, they don't hire speakers, they don't hire speakers, they don't hire speakers, you know, so AI is not quite there yet, but that is one way. And the thing is, if you do some kind of an AI search, always remember after it gives you like 20, you know, at the very, put another prompt in, list more. They'll give you another 20. Put another prompt in, list more, give you another 20. You know, just keep putting the prompts in to list more, list more, list more until it runs out. Okay, here's a little bit more analog way. The directory of associations.com, which is a, ready for it, free resource. It's going to do a little bit better job, believe it or not, than an AI search because it's already a database. And it's got in it, let's get over here and look a little closer because I can't quite see. Okay, so on the left, you can choose the search by state. Then the next one is by type. What kind of association is it? Trade, professional society. And then categories, all categories is the industry. And then all sizes, you know, you can look at the size of the association you want to go for. Now you can put the search in and just at the bottom of the screen here, it says National Association of Certified Valuation Analysts. That's a hyperlink. So when you do a search, okay, the search is going to provide associations, and most of what's going to come out is going to be a hyperlink to their website for you. So that's pretty easy. And so this is a great way. You want to, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but you kind of want to pick a lane, and we'll talk about that more. But the directory of association is a great way, I think, even better than AI, to search for associations, and it's free. Also, if you're a member of NSA National, you can spend $400 a year through NSA and join Association Insight. Now, Association Insight is the database that used to be the NTPA, National Trade Professional Association Directory. For years, I was telling people to buy the books, but they stopped publishing that book in 2019. So there's not many left, and the few that are out there, people want like $200 for them. There still may be an NTPA in your public library in the reference section. But this Association Insight is interesting. I've subscribed to it for the last 2 years just so I can extract stuff for my ASSC group. And the good is it's got close to 100,000 associations listed. The bad is most of the information is 2 years old. And the bad is you have to work within their ecosystem. You can't download it out. No, they got you by the you know what's. And so it's not like you pay $400 to get in, you pay $400 a year. So it's a pretty good resource, but it's also going to be a manual. You know, it does great searches. And this afternoon, I'm going to actually go on to this online, whoever's here this afternoon, we're going to go behind and I'm going to show you how to use it and what it can do and so forth. But that'll be this afternoon. So it's pretty good. You got to pull everything out manually. You got to be an NSA member to get a decent price, but you know, there it is. You know, you can go back to, quite frankly, the directory of associations.com is pretty good. And for what most of us need, it's a pretty good choice. Yes, go ahead.
What is the website for that one?
Which one?
Association Insight?
It's association-insight.com. association-insight.com, association-insight.com. And I don't know what they charge if you're a non-NSA member, but they hit my credit card for $400 every year. And you have to sign up for the whole year. But as soon as if you only think you want it for a year, as soon as you sign up, go in and take yourself off the auto charge. So anyway, is there a question? Can't read that. So, oh, okay. Somebody put the link in there. Thank you. That's great. I'm going to talk to you about two basic approaches to go after associations. So the first approach I like to call, you're laughing before I even get the words out, spray and pray, okay? So a lot of speakers, their method is spray and pray. What does that mean? Just, I can speak to anybody. My topic is perfect for anybody. I can speak anywhere. I'm always, just all over the place. Okay, well, that's a method. Some people like it, some people don't. Now, if you like spray and pray, here's how you do it. Number one, you try to get on and speak at any and all of the state society of association executives. I'll talk more about those in a little bit, but basically, almost every state, not every, but almost, has a society that all the executive directors of the associations in that state belong. And if you speak at their annual meeting, you'll have between 100 and 300 decision makers in your audience. So that's not bad. Spray and pray. You're speaking to all of these different associations. They will self-select. People that you maybe never would have thought of in a million years will reach out to you and go, hey, I'd like you to speak for my group. And you go, the what? The Tortilla Association? And I have spoken for them. So it's very, very fun. Also, a lot of the meetings industry magazines, online and hard copy, they put on what's called hosted buyer meetings. As a matter of fact, in a couple of weeks, I'll be in Knoxville, attending successful meetings, small and boutique meetings, event, because I'm always looking for new places to put on Cigar Pig Masterminds. So anyway, but what they do at those meetings, so all the buyers are vetted and you got to apply, and but a speaker will go in and do a program, and they get CME, Certified Meeting Professional credit for going to that. So if you were to hook up, and I'll talk to you more at the end of who they are, where to get them. If you were to hook up with a hosted buyer meeting, be a speaker, whether you got paid or not, you're gonna have 100, maybe 200 actual vetted buyers in the room. Again, that's a spray and pray method. Speaker bureau showcases. Now, some speakers bureaus, one that's died, they used to be called 5-Star years ago, and they made most of their money putting on speaker showcases. And I'm not a huge fan of speaker bureau showcases. However, they're out there, they're potentially viable. Okay. Better than that is the Virtual Speakers Hall of Fame showcase. Anyway, that's another topic. Okay, also, you can maybe look at going to PCMA, Professional Convention Management Association. At their annual meeting, almost everybody in the room is a decision maker. You can go to MPI, Meeting Professionals International. About 20% of the people in the room there are decision makers. Great parties, but most of the people there are logistics people, not decision makers. PCMA is far. And there's other kinds of places like that. And at the end of this, I'll be talking about a few more of those too. You can do a TEDx talk. Now, there's a lot of controversy on TEDx. I put up a link, okay? A week and a half ago, every Wednesday, we have a Cigar Pig Zoom call. And I put up topics, whatever I feel like talking about. It's all about me. And I ask people, their opinions on TEDx. I gave you the link. That link will take you to my Zoom account, my cloud, and you can watch the Cigar Peg, our topic on TEDx. Yeah, you might want to do a screen capture on that. You know what I will do for you folks, just because I'm a decent human being? At the end, I'll put this presentation in a PDF and I'll get it to somebody. And then if you do get that, I intentionally put that as a hyperlink so you can just click on it. But if you want to get to it sooner, go for it. Just a million characters have to type in.
Ed, do you mind if I go to your computer and grab it and put it in the chat?
Yes, I do.
You do mind?
Yeah, because I don't want to take a chance of screwing
All right.
things up. But something at the end, I've got another thing. I'm happy to do that at the end. Sure, absolutely. I just have a low trust level with technology because if something's going to go wrong, exactly. So, but anyway, we'll do that. That's a good idea. I didn't think about that. See, you're thinking ahead of me. I wished I would have thought of that. But TEDx is an interesting thing. I don't give a hoot about TEDx. I really don't. But some of you might. And you can hear probably 30 cigar beggars with their opinion on TEDx. So that was a very fascinating talk. Approach number 2, which I would suggest to you that you do a little bit of approach number 1 and approach number 2, but understand the differences and understand when you're spraying and praying versus understanding when you're focused. Because if you stick with an industry and go deep in an industry, much quicker do you get a name. Like Michael Goldberg is into the financial world, insurance world, and they all know him because he's been doing that ever since 1952 when I was born. And but by going deep into an industry, it allows us to gain that notoriety faster, quicker, better. And what I like to suggest to people, go deep in, that's what the next slide is. Go deep in an industry, and then when you've exhausted as much as you can, then take a second. And when you've exhausted as much as you can, pick a third. And going deep in any one industry, it's going to take you a whole year to get around to all the potential associations you can speak to. So, go from national to state, state to national. But if you stay in an industry and you get published in that industry, you speak at that industry, remember, the allied bodies, the allied associations tend to attend each other's meetings. So if you're speaking at this national meeting, there's going to be a bunch of allied executive directors at that meeting that are going to hear you that could possibly bring you into their association too. So I'll go just a little bit deeper. I do interviews with decision makers. That's for my ASSC group. So this interview with the American Banking Association with Lauren and Tracy, that went into our vault. Come on, go. And at least 3 people in our group have gotten bookings. But here's what you need to understand. With an association, the point that I really want to make, and I'm using the American Bankers as an example. Okay, here's their website. Now, if you scroll further, look at their meetings and events. Okay, the one circled is their annual convention, which we all seem to focus on. Oh, I can see at the annual convention. Oh, that's very exciting. But they've got so many other meetings that they also pay speakers for, and most speakers completely overlook that. So, as a speaker, oh, bummer, I didn't get the annual meeting this year. Well, look at the other meetings they have, and maybe you'll get one of those. So that's a way to go deeper. Also, do they have chapters? Here with the American Bankers Association, they have 52 allied bodies. They're independent of the American Bankers Association. So what does that mean? They probably put on their own annual meeting. They probably need speakers for their annual meetings. And at their website, you see the state associations, there's links to those state associations, and you can prospect them. So. Then, and there's more. Then a lot of associations will have association executive councils. So here, it's called the State Association Alliance. And you see, I put the guy's name on the bottom there. That's their senior VP that works with the Alliance, Matt Brown. I even put his email for you guys, just saying. So anybody wants to do a quick screen capture, there you are. There's a lead for you before we even leave the room. But so the executive directors of the various state associations get together for a meeting too. That's another opportunity to speak. So whatever association, I just use this one as an example. This is a good sized national association, but any of the mid to good sized national associations, you've probably got at the national level 5 to 10 opportunities. And then when we push it into the state, you got another 20 to 50 opportunities. So that one association, you can work this for 2 weeks. That's how long it's going to take you to try to reach everybody, get through to everybody, so forth and so on. Just that one. Okay.
So do we just say when this person gets 40 emails Monday morning, just say Ed told us to send you an email? Or would you prefer that we not reference you?
Yeah, because, yeah, I get an email, Ed, you're a real POS. Now, there's no reason to reference me.
Okay.
But
Thanks.
here's the, now, going back, the people in the ASSC, when they watch the videos, I tell them to put, don't say Ed suggested I contact you, because that's not true. But, say something like, I saw your interview with Ed and yada, yada, yada. So, that's the thing to look at. But what I just want you to think about, every trade association, mid-sized to large, there's generally a lot there for you. And don't forget. So, don't get discouraged if you don't get the annual convention keynote, because there's a lot more. And remember, I mentioned earlier today that a lot of the associations that have a director of education, that's a different pocket, a different money pocket. That's going to tend to be the training through the year, the video conferences, the video training, things like that. So, those will be where you do those presentations from your office. Okay, when I'm talking about the allied people being at the meetings, here's an example of an association. I put a circle there where it said industry allied. So we go over to that. I look at that's a bunch of vendors. But I always tell you, don't forget when you're on website, scroll down. Is there anything else below? So this, when you scroll down, it's like, oh, that's where it all is. So these are all the associations that are allied that then you can look at and connect to. So petroleum marketers, I use that as an example. Went over to their website. Okay, I've got the about, I've got the staff, I've got the editors, I've got right there, you've got the staff listing. Right here, you've got all their chapters listing. So there's a lot there for you. I mean, just from one association. Yeah.
Just, can we make an assumption that they all have?
Oh, don't make an
Oh,
assumption,
sorry.
because it makes a what out of you and me.
They generally all have budgets though. I mean, right, they're used to paying for speaker. Okay.
Yeah, that's a really good question. And so the way here's the interesting thing. When they get so big, like National Association of Realtors, right? I hate those people. because they know that they got so many buyers that and I did it once just to see what it was about. I paid to go to Las Vegas. I paid for my hotel room and I spoke. Don't waste your time doing that. And there's a number of those really big associations that they've got that game. Don't waste your time there. But most of the bigger and mid-sized associations absolutely have budget. And quite frankly, a lot of the smaller national associations, they have an annual meeting and they have a budget, you know, because I can't tell you how many, I don't want to be demeaning here by saying two-bit associations, but I'll say how many small associations I've spoken with, especially in the trade association world, there'll be maybe 100, but everybody's in the room's a business owner. I mean, and these guys got money. So, I mean, and they had no problem paying my fee to come and spend like a couple days. And on one of those things, I don't know if any of you have a spouse, you know, I take my wife with me whenever I can, just, you know, because she keeps me within control, because I'd probably go out of control if she wasn't there. But it just, when they say we don't have any money, oh, okay, well, let's talk. And what I'm going to talk about in the afternoon, and I'll just bring it up here since you asked. I suggest speakers have a corporate fee and have an association fee, nonprofit fee. And your nonprofit fee is half of your corporate fee. Because the first thing when you talk to a nonprofit, oh, we're a nonprofit. Yeah, I know, everybody is. And so, and you kind of, it's like, how many times have I heard that? 7,000 times. But I go, yeah, I know you're a nonprofit. And when we talk, I will quote my nonprofit fee, which is half of my corporate fee. And that kind of eliminates that negotiation discussion. So that's something I recommend. Not telling you have to do it, but I just think it works out really well. Okay, here's the thing. In this business, you got to make the calls. And if you're not going to make the calls, you're probably not going to make it. Now, if you're in a situation where you financially can hire somebody to make the calls for you, that's okay. That's great. But not somebody, a VA from the Philippines. So, not that there's anything wrong with VAs from the Philippines, but you've got to make the call. You've got to get through. There's a lot to do to get to that point, but selling is face-to-face, ear-to-ear, whatever it is, you know, and if you think you're going to market your way to success, if you've got $1 million marketing budget, maybe you can, but most of us don't. So you're going to have to sell your way to success. Let me ask you this. If you talk to a decision maker, are you just trying to sell a speech? Or have you elevated yourself to you're trying to sell a solution? Because speeches, they can hire a dime a dozen. Solutions, not so much. So the key is for us to go in there and make sure that when we're talking to these people, we have a solution. And I'll talk more about that in just a minute. So here is, I have to wait for that chat thing to disappear. Move, chat thing. Oh.
Right back into it. Second half, Mr. Ed, the stage is yours.
And I was just getting comfortable sitting on my butt. Hey, on that video, I have done, what, 4 or 5 years now of Cigar Pig Virtual Speakers Hall of Fame, watching speakers showcase. And I will tell you, some speakers have done a great job and some speakers have stunk. Why I'm saying this to you, if you're going to showcase, I'm going to give you 3 words. Practice, practice, and practice. You can go to the Virtual Speakers Hall of Fame. You can watch any of the 40 or 50 videos there. They're all 8-minute and give you an idea of what others have done well and maybe what others have done not so well. And when you come in to do your 5-minute, you should be even more prepared to knock it out of the park. To answer your question, the meeting planners don't really care about seeing an audience because on showcases, audience are contrived. So quite frankly, I prefer no audience. But they do want to see the speaker give a bit of the speech. They don't want to listen to the speaker give a sales pitch. So kind of keep that in the back of your mind. Go to the Virtual Speakers Hall of Fame. Look at some of the videos. Give you an idea of which ones you thought were good and which ones you thought were not so good.
Especially 2021.
That's only because you were inducted into the Virtual Speakers Hall of Fame. Okay, so let's call it what it is. Yeah. That's very funny. So let's get into the connecting with association decision makers, because I got to tell you, early in my career, I spent so much money putting together speaker packets. You know, back then we actually used to put crap in a folder and mail it. And I spent so much money putting crap in a folder and mailing it. And all these years later, I know that probably most of those people just threw the stuff away. So I think it's really important that we understand how to get a hold of decision makers. My method is go in the back door through the end. That's my method. Why? When you go in the back door through the editor, editors get a lot less phone calls than meeting planners do or executive directors do. And why I have my website up here is you'll see circled. A lot of people have where that circle is, it says blog. Now I stole this from Dan Poynter a million years ago. Mine doesn't say blog. Mine says article bank. Now doesn't article bank sound so much better than blog? So people can go click on that and they can get the articles. Now, let's talk about reciprocity. Robert Chinoli's book, probably a good number of people in the room have read that. Maybe all of the people in the room have read that. I'm just going to talk about the reciprocity for a moment, because that's the piece that I think is important for you and I and what we're going to do. So here's my basic method. Write articles. Now, they got to be good. And you can't rely on ChatGPT to do everything. So, because if you do, then they could write it. So write articles, think about being not just a subject matter expert, but a thought leader. Okay, so you have articles, have them posted on your website. Then what you want to do is contact the editors of the association. And always, whenever you talk to an editor, always ask them if they're under deadline, because then it really impresses them that they think you know something. And if they say, yeah, I'm under deadline, they go, I'll call you tomorrow or the next day. But talk to them about, I understand that your members have these problems. Now, 5 years ago, you couldn't ask ChatGPT about the problems the members of that association have. Today you can. In about a minute and a half, you'll get all the answers. So you want to give them articles that you've written that solve their members' problems. Now, it would be nice if they published your articles, but that's not the game. Too many people have heard my presentation for the last 20 to 30 years. Oh, get articles published and then I get booked. No. It's the articles are basically the relationship bank deposit. You give them articles for their organization. Before you do this, you should have 6 to 12 articles minimum at your website. If you have a book, each chapter is an article. Roll the chapter into Chat or Perplexity, whatever you want, and have it write you an article. Whenever I put something into Chat or Perplexity, I always say, and give me 10 new titles. Yeah, I'm really lazy. And my LinkedIn newsletter, I just take articles from my website, throw it into Chat, ask it to rewrite it, and give me 10 new titles. And then I drop it in my LinkedIn newsletter. But anyway, so you want to make this relationship bank deposit by saying, getting them to look at your articles. Then after they've looked at your articles, the real game is let them be the bridge to the decision maker. because the editor knows who the decision maker is. If you call the association, the way so many of them are virtual now, you don't know who you're going to get. They may or may not, but the editor will know. And there's a good chance if the editor liked the conversation you had and the articles you gave them, they may tell you the truth and tell you who is the actual decision maker. And I always make sure that when they give me a person's name, I go, great, is that person the logistics person? Or do they make the decision on speakers? Sometimes, well, no, it's not, this person is. So here's a basic script. It's not the exact words, it's just an outline that you might want to consider using. Okay, step one. Before you contact the editor, spend a minute on chat or Perplexity, whatever you like. Get a little bit of insight to the problems that that association's having or that industry's having. Okay, that today, that's just a no-brainer. Number two, find the editor's name either from the association's website or go to LinkedIn. Either or. One of the two is probably going to get you the information you want. Then you got to get them interested in you and your topic. I always ask them if they wouldn't mind going to my website, and 8 out of 10 times they say, I'm already at your website. Okay, cool. And tell them where to click, show them the articles. And one of the things that I do, every article title has a word count after it. The reason for the word count is if they're looking for a certain length article, I make it easier for them. Also, I have at the bottom, every article, at the bottom of every article, permission to reprint. Okay, don't make it hard on these people. And I have a term, permission for reasonable edit. Now, when an editor asks me, well, what does that mean? And I go, I'm not really sure. What do you think it should mean? And it is funny, And I tell the editors, I've never had an editor. Too many speakers over the years said, well, I'm not going to let an editor touch my material. Hey, man, you're not that good. So the editors are. And if they're looking for a 600-word article and they come to my website and find a 700, they know they can take 100 words of fat out of my article. And fine. Well, what's the difference? I mean, they're not going to make you look bad. They're just going to make you look smarter than you are. So now we've done something where we built a relationship. I've made a relationship bank deposit. Now here's the gold. You ready for the gold? The gold is the doorknob close or the Columbo close. Anybody in sales knows the doorknob close. Remember the Columbo TV show, Peter Falk, right before he left? Oh, one more question. Okay, that's the doorknob close. So the doorknob close is when you're in selling physically in somebody's office, selling, yada, yada, yada. They didn't buy. You go, you get packed up by your craft, you go to the door, you get your hand on the doorknob, their guard is down. And you go, oh, by the way, do you mind answering one question before I leave? What's that? Why didn't you buy from me today? And then they tell you the truth, okay? The doorknob close in this situation is, before I let you go, I got a quick question. They go, what is that? Could you please tell me who is the decision maker for selecting speakers for your meetings? And then they might say, well, Joe is our meeting planner. Go, great. Is Joe the logistics person for the meeting, or does Joe actually select and decide on the speakers? Oh, well, actually, Sally, our executive director, does that. Great. Thanks for that information. Hey, could you just connect me over to Sally so I can introduce myself before I leave the call? Okay. I got the editor interested in me. I got the editor told me the truth, who the real decision maker is. I got an internal transfer rather than trying to get a hold of them from the outside. Now, will I get a hold of the decision maker? Maybe, maybe not. Okay, you have to have your phone pitch, and you have to be able to chat with them. Okay. If you've done your homework on ChatGPT before or whatever AI you want to use, you understand the problems of the industry. And you talk to the decision maker. Hey, I was just talking with Bill, your editor, and we were discussing this problem your member's dealing with. I gave Bill a number of my articles. Are there any other issues? and they're talking about this. You know, I've got a number of my talks, you know, immediately address those. You know, how would I go about getting my name in to be considered? And then shut the F up, okay? Be quiet. Let them tell you how to sell to them. If you just stop, which so many people selling can't do, stop talking, listen, and they will tell you exactly how to sell to them. And then what you're going to do is if you listen. Now, I will tell you, on a lot of those interviews that I've done over the last couple of years with decision makers, one thing that they've told me that really ticks them off. If I tell the speaker, call me back in 6 weeks, when they start calling me back in 2 weeks, I'm not going to book them because they don't listen. They don't appreciate my time. They just, you know, too many speakers are too big in a hurry, too needy, because they've got to try to sell this guy. They will tell you how to sell to them. They will tell you when to contact. Just follow their direction. That's all you have to do. And you got to have a gazillion of these in the sales funnel. Okay? So that's why you got to be day in, day out, day in, day out, filling your sales funnel, filling your sales funnel, filling your sales funnel. And some will come through and you will sell some of these people. Oh, I already said that. Listen to them. Okay, let's move on. So for those of you that don't care about what I just said the last 10 minutes and have call reluctance and are thinking to yourself, yeah, that's really great, but I just don't have the you-know-whats to pick up the phone and call. Okay, well, here's plan 2. Nowhere near as good as plan 1, but it's better than no plan, okay? So for those of you with call reluctance, let's look our way through this. Understand, spam emails that you send to associations go directly into the trash. In these interviews I've been doing, they tell me that. We just ignore them. So what you want to do, and I'm just going to give you an example. For the people in my ASSC group, we built a super GPT. You've already had a bunch of programs from AI people, so you already know how to do that, right? Okay, so we created a GPT that, and I built a whole list page with associations to go after. But the idea is put the information in, and what it spits out is a customized 20-second phone message, okay? Because probably 2/3 of the people are going to leave a message, okay? So build your own GPT, but these are the elements that your GPT needs to have in order to be halfway successful using email. Then you want to get a customized email, okay? So what you want this customized email to do, number 1, the first very short paragraph explains to the decision maker that you understand the industry's problem, the association problem. Okay, now they're going to listen. Number 2, it explains that your content will help solve those problems. Number 3, it explains why you're the right person to deliver the content. Those 3 very short paragraphs or long run-on sentences, whatever you prefer. Well, I mean, people do what they do. This is what you need if you're going to sit on your butt and send emails and not pick up the phone, okay? This is the only way that you got half a chance, because your spam emails are going directly into the trash. But if you can communicate, I get who you are, my content solves your problems, I'm the right person to deliver the information, then some of the people will respond, okay? Also, what you want your GPT to do is create a summary of your program that if the person has half an interest in you, you got something ready to go to spit out, okay? Not gonna tell you how to do these things. Is Gina and Terry there? Yeah, Gina and Terry's there. Gina will tell you how to do it. I don't know. Gina and Terry have been doing an amazing job. We had a cigar peg auction, the AI Dream Team, Gina and Terry, and Susan Frew, and Aiden and Jim and Jim. Anybody else, Gina? You're on mute, Gina.
Board.
Forward. So anyway, that's way beyond me. But anyway, this is a way that if you get these kinds of emails out with this kind of information, you've got a far better chance of catching their attention. Okay? Because I know some of the people sitting in this room, you're not going to pick up the phone. I just know that. I would prefer you pick up the phone, but is what it is. Okay, let's talk about how we can connect with some of these people on LinkedIn. Okay, I'm not Richard Bliss. Richard, I'm not Richard Bliss. I'm not a LinkedIn expert, but I will tell you how I use it to find these people and connect with these people. I do pay $59.95 a month for the LinkedIn Premium because I get better search capability, but that's just what it is. So what I want you to look at doing for every association, I want you to look at, connect with the CEO, the executive director, the executive vice president, and the chief operating officer. Those are usually the key titles that those people tend to be part of the selection service of speakers. Also, I want you to connect with an editor, a director of publications, or a director of communications. Because that's the person that's probably you're gonna connect with, and they're gonna tell you who the real decision makers. Also, I want you to connect with director of events, director of meetings, director of conferences. Director of education is good too, because do you remember what I said a little while ago?
Separate budgets.
Thank you, different pockets. That's exactly right. You heard it, different pockets. So if you go into LinkedIn, and here's my favorite thing to do, and I will encourage you, don't do this in the morning when you're high energy. But unless, of course, you're a zombie in the morning, then do it in the morning. But for most of us, the morning we tend to be a little bit higher energy. That's when you should be on the phone. You know, that's where the one, this is more of a late afternoon thing, you know, when you need one more cup of coffee and you just, you know, can't leave the office because your spouse will think you're not working. And if you go into LinkedIn, click your connections, all connections, filters, all filters, then you get something like this. And what I do, where they have the title, let me see what I put up there. Yeah. So where they have title, all those things that I've listed there are the various titles that I'll search. And then I search the word association. So all of those titles, and then association is the company name. So job title, company name, that's it. Just those two things. Then after you do all of those searches for association, then you change it from association to society and do the same searches. And you're going to get a whole ton of people that are potential prospects for you or editors that'll help you get to the decision maker. So this is another way to skin that cat, to go after them. Now, I had a LinkedIn spasm last week, and I pulled up and I put in the last name CAE, which is Certified Association Executive. And then I put in the company association. And I searched, and I searched only second degree. Oh, I forgot to tell you that. If you look at the very top there, oh, my laser doesn't work on that. So it says second degree. So I searched the second degree CAEs to me that I'm not connected with. There was like over 600. So every one of them got an individual, I haven't even got to the society yet. I'll do that next week. Every one of them got an email from me suggesting that we connect and mentioning to them about my CAE educational courses at my website that are free. So I'm offering them something that they need. And I mentioned that there's 9 ethics courses, which they have to have 2 hours ethics every 3 years to renew, or they can't renew. So I'm offering them something they need as a way to get connected with even more. So, and I would recommend if any of you, I don't know exactly how many association people I'm connected with. I've got about 15,000 connections, probably half of them are association people. The rest are speakers that want to sell something to me. But, and I don't connect with people from India, so I don't do that. But yeah, if you're not from the United States, slim chance I'll connect. But what I will say to you, if you want to connect with me, be happy to connect with you. In your connection, send me a note that you saw me present at FSAE at NSA Central Florida, because I get invitations from people from India all the time. So I just kind of tend to throw them away really quick, but I will connect with you. The benefit of connecting with me for you is now all of a sudden you're second degree to the several thousand association executives that I'm first degree with. That'll make it a little bit easier for you to try to connect with me. That's just my offer. Don't have to do it. You don't want to do it, totally fine.
So,
So, and I was getting ready to say, I promise I'll never try to sell you anything, but I don't have any plans to, but someday I might. So I don't want to make that promise. Who knows? Could happen. Okay. Also, be careful with your thank you note. Okay, here's one of my thank you notes. I just put the actual note up here. Do not, please, please, please hear me. Do not, as soon as somebody connects with you, try to sell them something. Okay? When people do that to me, what do? Probably the same thing you do. I disconnect, okay? Build a relationship. Have at least 1 or 2 benign communications before you ask them the gold question. The gold question is after a couple communications over a period of maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks. By the way, could you tell me who in your organization is the decision maker on selecting speakers? And would you mind giving me their email address? I'd like to connect with them. Some people will, some people won't. But and some people will say, it's me. That's the way. And I love to, sometimes editors too, you know, I'm talking to an editor and I ask him who decides on speakers, they go, oh, that's me. And I go, oh, can we have another conversation? And, you know, and I've already built a relationship. So I've gotten a lot of bookings that way over the years. But I want you to make an effort to build an honest relationship before you try to sell. Also, a fun factoid you may or may not use. If you're using your mobile, you can do a voice message on LinkedIn. You just click on the little microphone. And I forgot, it's only like 30 seconds, but it's kind of a fun thing. When people leave me voice messages, I actually don't listen to them, but I'm probably the oddity that does it. But it's a fun thing to do if you want to. I'm not saying yay or nay, but just know that that's an option. Okay. Yeah, I thought that was a cute picture, so I used it. I looked forever where to use it in the presentation. No, I'm kidding. So let's go a little bit deeper and see what we can come up with. I want to talk to you for a little bit about an association management company. What's that? An association management company. So this is AMC Institute. Their name used to be the Association of the Association Management Companies, which was very confusing. And about 10 years ago, they changed it to AMC Institute, or Association Management Company Institute. The circle is there. If you see the circle, it says find an AMC. That's the search mechanism that'll take you to this page that you can search for the various AMCs. So again, what is an AMC? Why do you care? Why would you like to? Smith Buckland is an AMC. They're in Chicago. They manage over 300 associations. Pretty good number. So you start plugging in to an association management company, they pass you around like a party favor. If they liked you and you did a great job, they're going to tell the other folks about you. And some association management companies, the account executive, also executive director that runs the association, might select the speakers. Some association management companies, they have one person in the AMC that works for most of the meetings. So it's a way to get more exposure faster. And some association management companies specialize in certain kinds of associations. Now, I mentioned over 300. If you want to do international work, which some people do, Helen out of Atlanta, they have offices all around the world. So if you're going, yeah, I'd like to speak internationally, that'd be cool. That'd be a lot of fun. Then you want to get to know Helen. Connect. They've got an office in DC. They've got an office in Atlanta. Those are the two main offices, and a couple other around the country and various offices around the world. So that can be something that you might be interested in. Another example is AH, which stands for Association Headquarters. They're in New Jersey. They manage 72 associations. They're a pretty legit house. One of the interviews in the AFC Bank is the meeting person from this company talking about what they're doing and how they're doing it. And so that was very, very fascinating. But if you see, they list their clients, and on that page, you just scroll down and it's going to have the logos for all their clients. Another one, Stringfellow AMC, more boutique, really good people. They're in the DC area, and they've got 19 associations that they manage. So, I mean, just, and like, if you find an association management company that's close to where you live, that's got maybe 10 associations or more, maybe contact and go, hey, you guys do lunch and learns. And what a lunch and learn is you buy Subway sandwiches for everybody, you go in, you do a half-hour presentation, they thank you for the sandwich, and then they throw away your material, and then they go back to work. No, it's a good way.
Sort of.
It's a hit and miss, but it's a good thing to do. So I would just say, understand in this association world that there's a lot of association management companies, because you all of a sudden, when you look at this, hey, that's the same address as that one. Hey, that's the same address as that one. And then it's like, oh, it's an association management company. So, okay, let's talk about association executives. Before I do that, though, I want to just check this. Okay, did we talk about how to get the right person? Yes. Michael, what did you write?
The right organization.
Oh.
The right organizations /
Okay, the right organ, we talked about that. What's this?
approach from place of value,
We talked about that, using chat to help you out.
how to connect with decision.
We talked about decision. Okay,
how
their
to
needs, we
identify
talked about that.
their needs.
Their needs, we talked about that. What's this one? Prospect.
Well,
Oh,
if you
different
look at
generations.
Generations
Okay.
from the standpoint of
Okay.
prospect,
We'll talk about that. I'll talk about that a little more in just a second.
industry focus,
Okay, we talked about that. And what was this one?
non-monetary compensation.
Okay, gotta make sure. Don't let me not do those two. Understand that if it's a Z-Gen decision maker, they're probably not gonna talk to you on the telephone because they're allergic to that. So you're probably gonna need to communicate with them via text or TikTok. So just understand that's, does anybody know Nora Burns? she's a speaker on employees. She's out of Colorado. She spoke at ASA a couple years ago. She's got one of her workshops on my website. And it was great listening to her talking about if you're going to hire a Gen Z, don't contact them on the telephone, do it all text, you know? So I think that what we have to look at, and I gave you the access to that one interview that I did at the rural farm managers. Because Brian, their executive director, is a baby boomer, because Cody is a millennial, and I think Lori, the meeting planner, is a Z-Gen. We talked about that a lot in that interview. I think if you really want more about the different generation, and eventually you'll get the link to it, that I would watch the interview. It was really informative about understanding what they're wanting. What was the other one I said? Okay, we'll talk about non-monetary a little bit later. When I get into the meeting groups, that'll come soon. Okay, societies of association executives. I talked about it before. How do you find it? Well, Google or chat or your favorite is about as good as any. And there's about 40, 45 state. I'm saying state. We'll talk about others in a minute. So as an example, let's see what okay. So I threw that into chat and it gave me a list of national and state. So it's real simple. A couple of people or somebody's mentioned Florida Society of Association Executives. And that was you, right? Yeah. Yeah. After I recommended Jan, you went in there and said, can we have a conversation? That was very fun. That was very fun. But speaking at the SAEs, all of them, all around the country, is a great thing. You may or may not get paid. I've spoken at them where I've been paid. I've spoken at them where I haven't been paid. But, you know, when you talk about the non-monetary, there's always a conversation, always a negotiation. And one of the things that I like about when I would speak at an SAE, you know, most of them are doing it less now, but they used to always have a member directory sitting by their booth. And I would always walk by and just grab one of those. And now I had all the list of their members. And so it's a really good place to play. If you want to, I mean, since they're up in Tallahassee, it's a little ways away from here. But if you want to join, you're not going to get a lot of business right away. It's a chance to network, to participate, to volunteer, let people get to know you. It's playing the longer game. But what you want to do is try to get on the program at their annual meetings, because you're going to have between 100 and 300 decision makers in your audience. Whether you get paid or not, it's not that big of a deal. You do a great job and they'll come after you. Here's something a lot of people don't know about. The alliance of societies of association executives. So let's go back about 15 years ago. ASAE, American Society of Association Executive, jettisoned the relationship of all the state SAEs. So now they're out there in the cold on their own, so they created their own alliance. I conveniently put the link for you there. And even if you look at the one with a square around it, Australia SAE. So there's a few offshore association SAEs that belong to this, but most of the state SAEs belong to this. They do a meeting twice a year. They have a speaker showcase at their meeting. So just think, if you got on that speaker showcase in front of, let's say, 50 executive directors of an SAE that could bring you into their SAE, you speak at their SAE, and they've got 100 to 300 association decision makers in the room. It's not bad, not bad at all. And you're not going to get to them all in 1 year. So this is, again, the long play. you just keep at it, you keep at it, you keep at it. Ed, I can't get the keynote. Well, let's take another track. How about if you partner with them and do a pre-con? So a pre-conference workshop on your topic. If your topic really relates to helping them, and then to make it easy for them to say yes, you say, let's co-produce it. They go, what does that mean? Go, you guys put it on, you guys get, give the room space, I'll do the program, and we'll split the gate. Whatever you charge, we'll split it. To where it's really, really easy for them to say yes, because there's really not much risk. So that way you can, and then sometimes when you do that, they go, well, we should put you on the program too. So it just, I think that if you really put some focus into the alliance and into the SAEs, it long-term in your career can really, really help you a lot. On their website, you can just go look at the leadership, see who's the leaders this year. Now, remember, all the members are executive directors of SAEs. So everybody in the leadership is going to be an executive director of an SAE. So you can figure it all out from there. When I speak at an SAE, we all have our ways to do things. So I kind of do the dumb farmer thing. And I'll start going through my presentation, because mostly when I speak at an SAE, I teach them how to do my qualitative research method for determining the ROI of membership and actual dollar numbers. And they're very interested in that. And I'll just keep going. And then people are writing. And then after about 5 minutes, go, oh, I'm sorry. Something, let me make your life easy. Everybody give me your card. I know a lot of people don't have cards anymore, but you can write it on a piece of paper. Give me your card. This evening, I'll convert this into a PDF and I'll email it to you. And a ton of people will drop it off. Oh, great. Well, now I've given them the email. I have their card, I have their email address. In my opinion, that gives me permission to give them a call. So I'm going to give them a call. So what I'm going to talk to them about, the first thing is just a very soft, nondescript. Hey, have you used anything from your workshop? What'd you guys do? What'd you use? Yada, yada, yada. But not. Next question. Hey, have you accessed my article bank? Because I always talk about my article bank, but not. Number 3, going to the kill. Is there a possibility that we might be able to do business in the next 12 months? Okay. And then, because you want to get their guard down a little bit, get them relaxed, and then go into the kill. And depending on how that goes, the next one will be, would you be willing to recommend me? So if you're going to speak at an SAE, have a strategy. Don't just go and speak and get there and go. Now, have a strategy. Now, a lot of people love to use Talkadot. I don't use it, but a lot of my friends use it, and they love it. I do get a little agitated when my friends are always putting their Talkadot on Facebook. Oh, look at, they love me. No meeting planners are looking at your Talkadot, okay? If it's on LinkedIn, maybe, but not on Facebook. So put it on LinkedIn if you want to do that. But this is another way to grab information. And I know for anybody in the room, even 3 years younger than me, you probably will use this. But whichever way you like, either's good. You choose, but have a strategy, whatever way you choose, to grab the information of these potential prospects. Now, in addition to the State Society of Association Executives, there's other kinds of societies of association executive. We have industry-specific, association-specific, and federations. So this first one, I always forget, Council of some engineering, STEM, can't remember what it is. Council of Engineering Society Association. Anyway, all the engineering societies, the executive directors of the engineering, the STEM societies belong to this group. So if you're, a geeky person and these are your people, okay, then, or if you're the type of person that teaches these people how to speak English, that there's a lot of good business there too. But that's a society of association executives that you'd want to try to plug into so you can get to a very specific group. And if you go to their member list, you can see just there's a whole bunch of members. And these are all the executive directors of those scientific groups. AMSI. Kristen and I were talking about this morning. AMSI is American Association of Medical Society Executives. So the executive directors of all kinds of, you name it, from podiatry to pediatric to geriatric and everything in between. Their executive directors come to this annual meeting every summer, okay? That's a great place if you get on the program, whether you get paid or not. It doesn't matter. Now, they wanted me a few years ago to teach them the member ROI process. And they said, you're in LA, our meeting's in LA, we don't have any money to pay you. And I said, okay, but I want membership for a year. Why do I want membership for a year?
Access.
Access their database, yeah. Okay, and I forgot how many, but I told them X amount of my articles published in the year. And they said, okay. So I drove from Thousand Oaks to downtown LA or wherever it was, did the program, hung around, drove home. And I got a membership for a year and I get a bunch of my articles published. Not a bad trade, not a bad trade. And I really didn't prep because it was the same program I'd given to the association group the day before. So anyway, that's something to consider. I've got a couple other for you. Food Industry Association. Go to this website. Holy cow. There are a ton of food-related associations on this page. I mean, they just scroll down like 20 feet. And so, they've got an annual meeting, get on their program. Plus, if this is an industry that you're interested in, this is a heck of a shopping list on who to prospect. Anybody interested in the food industry? I mean, we are. I don't care, but you guys do. Okay, great. Continuing down the food industry path, Council of State Restaurant Association. Thank you. So you got NAR, National Association of Restaurants. There's all the state groups, okay, and National Association of Restaurant, and this is their group of the state executive directors. So, if hospitality and the various things is your thing, it's a great place to go because if you go to their membership page, that's all the executive directors from all around the country. Again, this is a great prospecting page. You don't even have to go to ChatGPT to look it up because it's right there for you. Pharmacy. Okay, so if pharmacy is your thing, same kind of a thing. All the executive directors in the pharmacy associations. And again, you go to the member list, there's all the executive directors right there. Just love it. Osteopath, same thing. I'm just going through a bunch random. And the thing is, whatever industries you're interested in, you might do some research to see if there's some group like that. Again, the board of directors, who's the board of directors? It's the state executive directors. So everybody that's on that board could hire you. Not only for that group, but for their own association. State retail associations, it just goes on and on. Accounting web for CPAs goes on and on. Then there is federations, okay? So what I presented for the Farm Federation, it was interesting because there's executive directors from big group, big federations, small federations, all kinds. But a lot of industries will have federations to where they're not part of the national, but they're loosely connected. So these are ways, if you want to. So the state SAEs is what? Spray and pray. The more specific SAEs and the more specific groups is your laser focus. And you can do both, nothing wrong with it. If you look at Farm Federation, you click on the map, you can click on, there's the federations all over the country. Okay. So did we cover everything on this page? Well, we're gonna get into a little bit more of this in just a moment. So I want to talk to you about, and where are we on time?
We are at 11:30.
What time am I
and
done?
You're done at about 11:40.
Okay, so I've got 10 minutes?
You do.
Oh, okay, ready? Machine gun time. Okay. So meetings industry magazines. Here's some over time that I've subscribed to. They're all free. Some are online, some are hard copy. You can just do a ChatGPT search for meetings industry publications. But the important thing is a lot of them have hosted buyer events. I mentioned to you, I'm going to be at one of North Star's events in a couple of weeks. So it's North Star owns Meetings and Convention Magazine and Successful Meetings Magazine. You can go to their websites and they'll usually have an events tab. See, it's circled on this one. And you can go apply and I interviewed the gal that was their VP up until she just retired recently in our vault about how to get into that. But I've been getting emails from them. They're actively looking for speakers for all of their events. So let me go back here, go to the North Star website, the hosted buyer events, there's the direct link and check it out. So we got meetings and convention, a number of events, got successful meetings, a number of events. We've got smart meetings, a number of events. We have small market meetings. I used to go to this one a lot, a number of events. The thing is, if you get on the program, you're probably not going to get paid. But here's the good side. They're going to take care of your expenses. You get to schmooze with meeting planners for 2.5 days. So they encourage the speakers to come, go to the dinners, go to the cocktail parties, go to everything, schmooze with the meeting planners. They want you to. So they're basically paying your travel and giving you great food and party to go network. And especially after you've given a presentation, because then they're going to want to talk to you about the presentation. It's a wonderful thing. And there's a bunch of hosted buyer events all around the country. Now, I talked about MPI before. I'm not huge on MPI, but they have a standing RFP, their World Educational Congress, great party. PCMA, I really like PCMA. When I've been to their meetings, most of the people at their meetings are decision makers. So that's a great place to play. National Coalition of Black Meeting Planners. Ozzie Jenkins was their executive director. She called me one day, was talking to me about doing a partnering program. I said, Ozzie, do you know I'm white? She goes, yeah, we hire white people sometimes. I said, okay. And so we signed the contract. And I finally said, Ozzie, why did you book me? She goes, well, you sent me that brochure on partnering. It was a booklet on partnering. I said, Ozzie, I sent you that 5 years ago. She goes, yeah, I keep everything. So, I just would encourage you, and a lot of associations keep your digital stuff, so don't get frustrated if you don't get it this year, because maybe you'll get it next year or the year after. So, SGMP, Society of Government Meeting Professionals, that's a really cool, I've spoken to their national, I've spoken to some of their chapters, and it's another good place, and they usually pay. So these are things that are worth doing. These are places that you can go, even if you don't get paid. The leverage, the strategy of getting in front of a lot of decision makers really matters. Okay. And here's their chapters. There's probably a chapter right around here, and maybe speak at a chapter to help you get into national. The last thing I'm going to talk to you about is referrals. Now, we had a cigar pig call on this a couple of weeks ago, That's really pushing the issue. And I think that, and now I'm gonna be on my little soapbox, so take it for Ed being on a soapbox. And I think number one, let's make sure that we understand that we're not having any discussion here that would any way be concerned with any antitrust issues. So we can have the discussion. What about giving? Do you give referrals? Okay, so there's a good side and a bad side. If you give referrals, what do you expect in return? Do you expect a thank you or a referral fee? Okay. Have you made yourself that you're referable? Okay, is it now? I referred Jan because she did the Scrap Egg Showcase and I've seen her do her thing. I've never seen her live present, but I saw her do the showcase. So I know what she does, and I can refer. So I think that we want to make sure that, are we clear on who we are, that top canopy above the umbrella of our positioning? Are we clearly communicating to our friends and colleagues how we are uniquely different in our topic? Are we referable? And I mentioned to somebody in this room that I won't mention their name, that their signature was a JPEG. So I had to go to their website to get the information to refer them. So we got to fix that. That makes it hard for you to be referable. And then what about receiving? Are you ready to receive? And here's the challenge. If I receive a referral, am I now obligated to refer you? So talking about referral fees, here's my thought to you to consider. If somebody refers you, you should probably give them a fee. Is it 5%, 10%, 15%? That's up to you. But that way, you're not obligated to have to refer them because you've already reciprocated in the form of a small percentage. Because the problem is if people are referring you and you're not referring them, then you're going to get a bad name. And so I would say for everybody in this room, come up with what works for you. There is no standard. And we're not going to talk about a standard because that might be an antitrust issue. But what is your standard? Referral fee that you give to people who are free. Is it 5%? Is it 10%? Is it 15%? It's your thing, totally up to you. But that way you are more referable. And if somebody refers you, you're not obligated to refer them. Because maybe it's a situation where it doesn't work. So build the industry, as Kevin Robert used to talk about, grow the industry, bigger pie, all this kind of stuff. But I would encourage everybody to think about this topic, decide for you what's right for you. And there is no right or wrong in the industry. In real estate, it's a standard 20% referral fee. That's just the standard in the industry. Other industries have different standards. We don't in the speaking world. We don't have a standard. And you create whatever standard you want, but create one and be consistent. And that's it. Right. Sorry, I didn't tell you all my stories because I didn't have time. Hey, I'll be hanging around here to answer questions, and I'll be here for the afternoon for the academy group.
Go to lunch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to lunch and all that kind of stuff. So feel free, be happy to answer your questions if I'm in a good mood. I had a nice breakfast, so I'm still in a good mood. I had a nice breakfast. But anyway, happy to try to answer your questions. I hope this gave you a little bit of insight, and we'll turn it back over to you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was just so much valuable information, so many excellent slides, and you gave us your Zoom links, and please, 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 the PDF to that. At some point, we've got to have access to it. We're begging you.
Oh, and
But please, another round of applause. Okay. Before we part for lunch, I have two things. I want to go through the metrics and then I want us to all come to the center, take a picture of us. All right, so what is it looking like for the month of September? How many speaking engagements have you done since our last meeting? This group has 31. 31 speaking engagements. How much revenue was generated from those speaking engagements? This group, $71,300. Wow. How many NSA CF chapter members have you networked with since our last meeting? The number's 34. Okay, so those are some nice numbers, right? All right, so can we all come together for a nice photo? Anything that you might have?
And I just want to remind everybody, or tell everybody,
Yes.
before you leave, we have at the June meeting, we had mugs and things like that, the NSA, Central Florida mugs. We've got some, also there was some materials at my house, educational materials, they are free, take whatever you like from those back tables and please take them up. And
Question?
I just always think of Kimberly around.
Thank you, I appreciate that. First time jitters, hope it did okay.
You did great.
Anything else we can touch on?
I think, one other thing, sorry, if you're in the academy, we meet at 1:30. Please get there about 1:15, and we won't meet in this room, but if you go across the hall, across the foyer to room 101, that's where we're gonna be, it's a smaller, more intimate boardroom for us. So we'll see the academy students at 1:15. Thank you, and Ed will be there.
Okay. Sure? Okay.
Okay.